So obviously another fun game, great team win. Thought our guys played well. I thought, the Falcons played well. They made a lot of plays. I thought they had a good plan, moved the ball a little bit. Actually a lot of yardage there. Did a good job in the run game. We kind of, felt like, that could be the case. And we kind of harped on the red zone and third down and turning the ball over, and we were able to get some of those things done. Obviously, a lot of things to correct, and we've talked about that as a staff. But, I thought the energy, the intensity, the physicality was there. Thought, played a really good ball game as a total team, and really excited for our guys to get another win. So I also thought it was just an absolutely phenomenal celebration, by Metellus and Bynum. Obviously, there's a lot of creativity there, a lot of time spent on that one. On Saturday nights, we, every once in a while we talk about, or they watch a celebration that, hey, we're going to do this as a group. Those guys kept this one close to the vest. No one knew what was happening there, so I thought it was very creative, executed well, so kudos to them on that one too. So I like seeing that.
Did you know what it was in real time?
Absolutely not.
Have you known any of these?
No.
I mean, I'm just thinking.
Yeah, I just, I find out like everyone else. Parent Trap or, White Chicks, the movies, first. I don't know. But, I love the creativity. I love that they're, we talk about, look, you can't play this game at a high level unless you have peace. I think you get that from your preparation. And once you get that, you can have some joy playing this game. And I like seeing that out of our group. I think that's important. I think you put those together, that's how you play at your optimum level. We talk about it, and they're certainly having a good time out there, which I love seeing that. And hopefully we can keep that going. A lot of that is part, and due to their preparation, the way they practice. We meet, we walk through, we practice. It's important to them. And then we get execution in game. Not always perfect, but they're working together. We're forcing the offense to execute, which happened quite a bit last week. And but they just keep fighting. They believe in one another. And normally when you kind of put all those things together, good things happen. That's been the case this year, and I love watching them kind of celebrate. All that they accomplish in the moment, but also over the course of the year. And we obviously got to keep it going.
Ryan, you talked about joy a number of times this year. When did that become, I guess, a central philosophy for you, or when did that sort of become something that you started to tell players about?
I think it's, as you grow and evolve as a coach, really any kind of facet of your, whatever industry you're in, profession you're in. I think that's just, and I think for me personally, I think it's when I'm at my best, there's a sense of peace that I have that comes through preparation, that comes through experience, that comes through relationships. When you're sitting there in a room with, on a team with, 52 other guys who, have your back and you have theirs. I mean, there's a sense of peace that comes with that. And I think, if you're not having fun playing this game, or coaching this game, you're never going to reach your optimum level. And I don't know. I don't see how that couldn't be the case. Along with that, it's a very stressful and anxiety-filled game. So there's this kind of, you're trying to strike this balance. But I think we've been able to. I think talking about it kind of makes it come to life a little bit more, especially for our guys, especially when it's, hey, you're not celebrating this enough. We need more. No different than, hey, we need better edge. We need a better, technique on this play and better leverage. I think that's a big part of it. I think when you incorporate that into your, or for me, incorporating that into the kind of my coaching philosophy, I would say it's always something that you think that the players are going to do on their own, but sometimes they need a little coaching on that too. I think I've learned that over the years.
Brian, how did you balance like your thought about just how good that Atlanta run game is and what they do with just you guys' performance against them in that game?
Yeah, I mean they got good backs, they got a good O-line, they had a good plan. Just some things we could have done a little bit better. I thought we could have tackled better. I think the one big run by Algier was a 25-yard run. We have him in the backfield. I mean, I think there's some things that we could have easily done better to help ourselves in the run game, to not give them momentum in the run game. Because once you get a big run, you feel like you're, those are kind of the ebbs and flows of the game that we talk about. So we gave him a little bit more momentum on that. Look, great run by the kid. But we had 3-4 guys, had him wrapped up in the backfield. And, again, kudos to him for making a great run. But there's some things we could have done to have been better in that phase. But, like any other kind of correction, you kind of learn from it. Well, don't worry, we'll be practicing, wrapping up in practice. Guys, that's what's going to happen this week. We'll be wrapping up, stepping into contact and trying to drive guys back and getting more population to the ball. But just another kind of coaching point that we can really emphasize because you get what you emphasize, and obviously those fundamentals, tackling, getting off blocks, setting edges, are so crucial to the run game. And when you don't do them, good backs, good O-lines, they're gonna get some yardage and get some chunk runs. So thankfully, it's a win where we kind of learn that lesson. It's a lesson that we know. It's not that we don't know it. But when you do it consistently for a good chunk of games, it's almost good to have a reminder that when you don't do it the right way, you better right the ship quickly.
There's always been a lot of debate about how important the stat of yardage allowed is or isn't in terms of evaluating a defense. I'm just curious, obviously, past few games you guys have given up some yards. How important do you think that, in a vacuum is?
It's important. I think there's a lot of context behind a lot of stats that I think without the context, it's hard to really evaluate or really put some, I would say, substance behind, a stat. But yards are obviously crucial. The more you give up, the more opportunity you're giving the offense to score. But I think you have to couple that with a few other stats. What was third down like? What was fourth down like? What was the red zone like? What's the turnover kind of stat like? And I think you got to, you can look at one stat and, say someone's good or bad. But if you don't look at these 4 or 5 other stats, then it's hard to really kind of put a stamp on, hey, someone is, this or that, good or bad. And I think, there's a kind of cumulative team goal that, we're all kind of looking for. And, obviously that's winning. So, but yeah, yards are important. I'm not going to say they're not. And, we've got to do a better job of limiting, opposing offenses from that standpoint. But I think, we're doing a lot of other things well. But, we always want to put all those things together. But it's hard to do in this league against, good coaches, good players. But our guys, they understand that. And we'll work to do a better job as far as limiting kind of the overall yardage.
Brian, with Harrison Smith, is there any particular impact that he's made that has played out over these last 2 years that you didn't necessarily see that he would have, like when you came?
Harrison, he brings so much to the table. It's hard to kind of pinpoint. But if there is one thing, I think even this past weekend, I'll give you an example. I don't really think about this stuff early in, during the week, but it was an emotional game because Kirk was coming back. And, we wanted to play well, and I'm sure he wanted to play well. And it really wasn't until, bless you, it wasn't until, we came in from Warm-ups. I go up to Harry. I go, listen. We didn't really talk about this much over the course of the week because we're kind of locked in on, the Falcons, and I'm not thinking about the emotions of this game. But make sure you walk around and tell these guys they better. We got to keep our poise. We've got to, take this one play at a time. Know that this is a 60-minute ball game, and not let the emotions of Kirk being back in the building get the best of us. And it was an emotional game. It was. And I actually had to bring the whole crew together and kind of talk about that a little bit, especially after the first drive. So, look, our guys want to play well. It's important to them. But Harry is a guy who can. It's one thing coming from me. It's another thing coming from him. Being a peer for all those guys and being a leader in the room. I'm supposed to say those things. That's it can fall into the coach speak category. But when he says it, it definitely has a lot of weight.
What was kind of your vision for Dave Murphy's role in the game, and then what do you think of just seeing him out there?
We kind of want to stick Gabe in there in kind of Pat Jones's role in the dime package, a little bit on early down. He obviously showed well in training camp, playing multiple positions on the edge, inside. He's done a nice job in practice, so that was kind of the role we had. He probably ended up playing a little bit more than that. Every game, kind of similar to the stat conversation, every game's a little bit different. Most games you're going to play, 10 to 12 to 15 dime snaps on third down. But you're going to play this many, base snaps on early down. But the game sometime, Atlanta played more 12 personnel against us than they played the entire season. So there was more base, And so you kind of go in forecasting, what you're going to get. And then the game plays out how it plays out, and you do what you have to do. So Gabe ended up, I think he played a little bit more than we actually thought he would play. A lot of that was due to kind of the end of the game being, we got some of the young guys in there. So it was good to see Nudie get in there a little bit. Bo Richter got in there a little bit. So yeah, the role was kind of the dime package, but it kind of morphed into a little more than that, which. It's good for him. It's good to get those kind of snaps under your belt.
It's kind of in that same vein, like the Jalen Redmond snaps. Was that earned more time, or is that just part of the game plan?
Yeah, he's been playing well. And I'm a believer if we go with the hot hand and you've been playing well and you've been practicing well and you're kind of moving in that direction, I think he earned himself a few more snaps, and he did well in those snaps. So he'll likely get some more snaps, and that's just kind of, I think a fair and right way to kind of to do things. So, yeah, I think he's done well, and hopefully continues on that trajectory. I think he will. He's a good kid.
Do you think there's any part of you that gravitates a little bit to the guys who, like the undrafted guy, the guys who have the types of journeys that some of these guys have played, meaning meaningful snaps, like a Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, I think, I think so. I think, everybody roots for the underdog. I think, I also think those guys have a chip on their shoulder. I think it's a chip, and I think we've talked about this in the past. I think you've got to have a drive to want to develop. You got to have an inner drive, an inner chip, an inner whatever you want to call it, to want to do what it takes to work and develop. And those are the guys I think who are oftentimes, because no one is a finished product when they enter the league. Everyone's got to work. Some people are more talented, more athletic, have more, let's call it big-time college experience, some guys, but, ultimately no one's a true finished product, and they've got to work when they get here to reach their optimum level. And, those guys who are undrafted or, come from the XFL, they feel like they've got to work even harder than all of those guys, and oftentimes they surpass those guys. And, if they're in the right, it's all about time and timing. So if they're in the right environment with the right people, right coaches, right situation, and they work at it, then they give themselves the best chance. And yeah, I mean, I can't say that I don't root for guys like that. I certainly do.
Right on the opposite end of that, Dallas Turner said after the game that he felt like he's starting to get it, just in terms of his approach, his attitude, all that. What have you seen from behind the scenes?
Dallas and I had several, just kind of one-on-ones last week, which was, oftentimes I kind of, let Pet and Marjay kind of that group kind of spend most of the time with them. But he and I kind of had some one-on-ones. Hey, what are we doing on this day? What are we doing on this way? What are we doing on this day? Which I think was good, just so we were a little bit more on the same page as far as expectations as far as the work week and things of that nature. Not saying that he wasn't working. He's always working. He's a hardworking kid, but just exactly what is it? What are we looking at on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? I think it's important for young guys to get on a routine. I think it's important for everyone to get on a routine, just so you can kind of go back and tweak it week to week and say, hey, that helped me, that didn't help me. So the goal there was just, hey, over the course of these last end of this season, let's make sure we've got the right routine really across the board. Weights, what time you going to bed, what time you waking up, and just to kind of just see where it was at. And a lot of it was good. I'll tell you that. A lot of it was on the right track. But as somebody who's got, I'm getting older now in the game, so somebody's got a little bit of experience. Just to give them a little, hey, what about this on Wednesday? What about this on Thursday? Are you lifting at this time, et cetera, et cetera. So just a little bit more one-on-one, which is, I got to do a better job of getting that with more of the younger guys.
What was the outcome to that? I mean, did you walk out of those meetings like more comfortable about where he's at in terms of how you use him on a Sunday, or is it more of a big picture?
It was more big picture. It was more, I think the kid's super talented. I think he's, got a bright future ahead of him. And, let me make sure, that he's not doing everything he's supposed to do. I think he does, he's doing everything he's supposed to do. But just if there any advice I could give him to make what he's doing a little bit better, and for now and moving forward.
What prompted that? Like, did you just, what prompted it?
I just wanted to check in with, and I normally check in with kind of some younger players later in the year, just to kind of. The season can really kind of wear on people, and I know people call it the rookie wall, but I normally check in on kind of the younger players when the college season starts to end, and then they may be feeling like I'm tired. So that's normally kind of around the time where I, check in with a lot of the younger players, and that's really kind of what prompted it. The season, basically the college season was over, and I was like, okay, here it is. Let me go say hello to, a couple of these guys.
Brian, what did you learn about Caleb Williams last time you guys saw him that you're hoping maybe you can do better or apply better this time around?
He's very fast. That's what we all learned. Obviously, he's he's a dynamic player. They got a lot of playmakers there, between Odunze and DJ and Keenan and Swift, Kmet. They got a good O-line. They got a lot of good players there. But his ability to, the off-script plays, just the quarterback mobility is a real thing. I think we all kind of felt that. Anyone who watched the game, and obviously anyone who played in the game on our side felt that. Tough guy to tackle, tough guy to get down. He's got kind of an innate feel for pressure in the pocket and how to avoid or evade it. And he's fast. So again, it's a major challenge for us. We got to do a good job of trying to keep him in the pocket. It's going to be a total team, defensive effort. And we just, I was very impressed.
Brian, when Dallas was, when you were evaluating him coming out of college, did you see like the ability to cover, or is that something that he's kind of learning a little more here?
Yeah, I mean, he was more of an edge guy this past year or last year. He had played off the ball a little bit in previous years, so we saw a little bit of that kind of coverage ability, and just felt like, between, guys like himself, Gink, you couple them with, JG, Pat, all of them can drop, to varying degrees. Dallas is just, very, very talented. He can, do it at a very high level. So we just try to incorporate that into some of the things we do, and he can both rush and cover, at a pretty good clip. So, and I think he's coming along. We're going to need him here down the stretch. We really are.
And does Bynum's ability to construct the celebrations, does any of that surprise you?
I mean, I think these celebrations surprise everyone. So, this guy is, he's a fun-loving, energetic, great vibes type of just human being. So, I didn't know he was the dancer that he is. That, kind of caught me off guard. He doesn't strike me as that. But, what do I know? I mean, that's not really my world either. So, I'd be speaking out of turn. I am speaking out of turn as I say that. I'm probably hear something about this tomorrow. But, yeah, I mean, it's look, the creativity, like I said, the execution. I mean, as a coach, if I was a dance coach or a celebration coordinator, I would say it was very good. I'm not going to give you a 1 out of 10 number, but I thought it was very good. But
We'll get you on dances in the States.
no, see, now we're going too
They
far.
got a whole season to fill next year.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd love to see me up there.
Or maybe.
Can much better. All right, guys, thank you.